Let's go. There we go. Oh my, yeah, that's true. There we go. I think because when I was eating, it was like annoying me, so I was like, there we go. Okay, let's do this. Let's see, make that big. Okay, let's do this. Oh, greetings, Annie. Come to look in on our friends? Rest assured, everyone is quite well. I've been keeping a close eye on them and have satisfied myself that they're all in fine health. Let's quickly remind ourselves of what happened. It's been a week, right? So, we had a bit of a closed chapter, right? Everyone's souls were sent back to their original bodies in the source. And we also said, we didn't necessarily say goodbye because we still have access to the first, but we kind of, we helped Graha. We helped Graha's soul get his goodbyes, and in general, just witnessing a bunch of goodbyes between people, and yeah, we witnessed what happened with Graha's body in the first. And then we also, in the end, saw how he was here in this world, in the source, where he seemed younger and more energetic, basically. What else? You have access to first, the other Scions don't? Yeah, they don't. They don't. So they had to say goodbye and everything. Fan Daniel, aka Asian Asahi. Oh yeah, so so we recognized the face of it was Yotsuyu's brother. I forgot who it was. I just remembered that the face was of someone crazy, and I remember that we killed him with the help of his sister, I think, if I remember it correctly. Wasn't it like that? And now he is back, but it's the Asian in his body. And the Asian is called Asahi. Is it? Was Fan Daniel the name of the original person? Like, Yotsu's brother was called Fan Daniel? Oh no, Asian is Fan Daniel. Asahi was the brother. Okay, alright, okay. So Asahi was the original name, and Fan Daniel is the Asian name. Okay. Asahi is dead. Fan Daniel is the Asian who is possessing the body. Yeah, so he's still dead then. And I remember finding it ironic because he was kind of cray-cray himself, and now this new Asian who's taken his body is also cray-cray. So that was quite funny. Okay. Batshit crazy both. Yep. It's true. It's true. Okay. Alright. And we also had, like, we went a bit forward in the future and progressed, and we have talked to the Scions and everything, right? So it's not like, oh my god, did everything go okay? We know that they're okay and in their bodies. We've had conversations. Alice was upset that she didn't get a new clothing when some of the others did, and yeah, things like that. So okay, that was the summary. Awesome. Rest assured, everyone's quite well. I've been keeping a close eye on them and have satisfied myself that they're all in fine health. Okay, yeah, she's been, I'm assuming, you know, keep checking, maybe daily. How is their state looking? Their, I don't know, their souls or whatever. How is it looking? The version of Graha in the first is from the future. Yeah, that's why he's older. Yeah, the guy we have now is the present version with the memories of the future one. Yeah. Yep. It's really cool, actually. Because wasn't he surprised at, like, how energetic he felt? I think. As a matter of fact, they're just about to convene in Dawn's Respite to discuss how best to use their pent-up energy. Let's join them, shall we?
Well, my friends, now that we have all settled back into our bodies, it is time we resumed our duties in earnest. Let us speak of our plans.
Well, let us speak of our plans then. That's where the current Graha is a little awkward when he meets you, still inexperienced despite having the future memories. Yeah. I remember. He found using magic more exhausting because he was a bard during CT. Oh yeah, he remembered. I remember him commenting like, was magic always this exhausting? Or something along those lines. Let us speak of our plans.
Ever since the Emperor's death, it's been one unsettling rumor after another. I have a mind to pay a visit to Garlemald to ascertain the truth of the matter.
When they say Emperor's death, this is because they're aware of Varus dying, right? Well, being murdered. He didn't just die. Yeah. How did they find out? Because I don't remember how they found out. News spread? Okay. Perhaps by Stinian. Okay. It's public knowledge. Alright. Something to know about 5.4. Do they know how he died? Or is that part secret? Something to know about 5.4 is that it's light in MSQ since they did a lot of side content with it. We got Eden, Bush, and Charles with this update. Makes sense. Estinian told you. He witnessed it firsthand. Okay. In that case, we know, yeah. Alright.
A prudent endeavor. 'Tis of the essence that we establish the full extent of the threat. Not least if it should prove that Xenos doth indeed orchestrate events from the shadows. In light of which possibility, I shall accompany thee on thy mission. Be assured that thou shalt find me more a help than a hindrance. Thou requirest another to imbue thine ammunition, dost thou not?
Oh yeah, because Alice used to fix his stuff. Not Alice, Reen. Yeah, I meant Reen.
Assuming that's settled, there's something I've been meaning to look into as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Welcome back, everyone.
We haven't seen her in a while.
Lise!
Yeah, hello, Lise.
You're fine now, right? No more headaches or keeling over?
Yes, we're fine. No hating on Lise. Okay, we're happy to meet her, okay? White people happy.
That's right. We're fighting fit and raring to go.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's happy.
The
yeah.
famous Lise Hext, former
Oh.
scion and hero of the Alamegan resistance.
Yep, Graha, that is true.
I don't believe we've met.
Does he meet her in the future?
Really? It's so easy to assume that all Archons are acquainted. But then I suppose your fields of expertise are rather different.
All Archons are acquainted. Can you remind me what Archon is? Guy is such a fanboy for heroes. Yeah, that's what tells you so much. I mean, even his future self was still a bit idolizing. Oh, like a Charlatan scholar. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
Grahatir, at your service. I have read much and more about your exploits, Commander. It is a pleasure to finally make your acquaintance.
Big fanboy.
Likewise. The others told me all about you.
Do not be so sure. Words scarcely do justice to the vital role he played in our victory in the first. A more dependable comrade one would be hard-pressed to find.
True. He was. All artists have that tattoo that Graha has. Ishtola, Eurasia Thancred. Is that why they have tattoos? I missed that part or forgot about it. Cool.
Oh, right. I did glance at the report. But I'd be lying if I said I understood half of it.
Oh, Lisa's such a, like, it's freaking, this is us. This is me, you know? Oh my god. See, Stola, Eurasia Thancred. And she doesn't have one then. Lise had one before, but it was a fake conjured. Oh. When she was pretending to be Ida. I see. That makes sense. Yeah, dear Papa Limo.
Well, that's a lot to take in. Just to be clear, this means we're not heading for another calamity, does it?
This is me asking you, chat.
Shorn
Yep.
of their unsundered master's leadership, what Ascians remain shall struggle to see their plans to fruition. And though I would ever advise caution, I believe we may rest easy for a time.
That's nice.
I'll take that as a yes.
Yep.
Even so, I don't know what to make of this business about Hydaelyn and Zodiac being primals.
Yeah. Yeah, what does that mean?
A
Thanks,
difficult
Lise,
truth
for
to
asking
bear,
the
yes.
good questions.
But at last we understand the nature of our adversary. And if there are no further calamities, neither will there be rejoinings, meaning Zodiac will never regain his full strength. Even so, as the oldest and mightiest of primals, he remains a force to be feared. Though his is a power born of the desire for salvation, we have seen the havoc it may wreak. And it falls to us to ensure that it is never again brought to bear upon this star.
Yep. The
But tell us,
flashbacks.
Lise, to what do we owe the pleasure of your visit?
Tell us, Lise.
What do you mean? Isn't seeing my long-lost comrades reason enough?
Actually true. I was thinking
Alright,
the
there
same.
was one other matter.
Oh, never mind.
I have a message from the Alliance, and before you ask, yes, it's about the Empire. So, after Emperor Varys' assassination, it seems his cousin Nerva made a bid for the throne.
His cousin Nerva. Do we know Nerva? I don't remember if we know a Nerva. I've never heard of her. Nice, okay.
The trouble is, he wasn't the only one with designs on it. and it didn't take long for a civil war to break out. And it's not just in the provinces. Early reports say huge swathes of the Imperial capital have been reduced to rubble. The Alliance will soon convene in Alamigo to decide on a course of action, and we were hoping you'd come along.
Okay.
Well, as it happens, Urianger and I were just this moment planning a little trip to Garlemald. And we should be grateful for any advice the Alliance can provide on how best to make the most of our visit.
Alright. Dad cred.
To Alamigo, then.
Let's go. To Alamigo.
Why don't you go on without me? There's something I need to look into.
Oh.
Oh, forgive me. You were just telling us. What is it, if I may ask?
I want to find a way to cure the Tempered.
The Tempered. Is that like well, what did tempered mean again? Your subscribers. Like, is she talking about her little friend? What was he called? Gabu. Yeah, is she talking about Gabu? And then also I was thinking about, I don't know if it's the same thing, but also Halric, exactly. Is she thinking about both of them, or... Yeah, okay. People like Gabu. Alright.
Of course. You think it may be possible to adapt the treatment you used to help those corrupted by the Sin Eaters?
Yeah, exactly. Because it was helping Halric, right?
I'm sorry, a cure for tempering? But that would change everything. Alizé, consider yourself uninvited. Go and find us this cure.
Good one.
I'll do my best. I was hoping you might join me. Don't worry if not, though. I won't hold it against you if you'd rather attend a stuffy meeting.
I think we want to come with her, right? What meeting? Lead on. I like stuffy meetings. No, we're gonna go with Alizé.
I knew you'd say yes.
Noise.
I'll come too. If you don't mind, that is.
No, of course. Graha fanboy can come with us. Right? No? Why are they shocked?
Mind? I'm sure they would be glad of your company.
Oh.
Pray, enjoy your time together with your hero.
No. That's not... I mean, I simply thought my knowledge might be of some use.
She low-key called Graha a simp. Yeah, you
We
can
shall be
spend
on
some
our way
time
then.
with your hero.
Godspeed.
Godspeed. Alright. Let's go. When I set out to save Halric, I think Gabu was always at the back of my mind, and having proved that the light corrupted are not lost, I'm convinced that the same must be true of the tempered. Wait, what did she call them? Having proved that the light corrupted are not lost. Okay, so they were light corrupted and lost, whereas Gabu is tempered. Similar to those corrupted by the Sin Eaters, the ether of Gabu's soul has been rendered stagnant. And though the root cause is different, perhaps the solution is the same. It is by no means an unreasonable hypothesis, Alizé, and it warrants a full investigation. If there's even a chance we can save Gabu, we have to try. But however much I'd like to race over to Limbs and set to work, there is no room for recklessness, not when a child's life is at stake. As I'm sure Beck Lug would remind us, we still know little and less about the soul, Any number of things could go wrong if we don't exercise due caution. And so, before attempting anything, we should learn all we possibly can about tempering. There's just one problem. Research into the condition has long since ground to a halt, and the combined work of the many scholars involved doesn't exactly amount to a wealth of knowledge. Not of the modern scholars, perhaps, but what of their ancient counterparts? I know the Allegans took a more than passing interest in the subject. And if what we seek is to be found anywhere, it would surely be at the Aetherochemical Research Facility. Where they experimented on primals and their worshippers, yes? Good thinking. I've never actually been there myself, but I did read the reports on Aziz's Law. Which means we'll be needing an airship. Hehehe. An airship, you say? Tatara's gonna hook us up. Meet me at the northern bank of Silvertear Lake. I've got a little surprise for you. Oh, and come prepared to travel. Tataru always ready. She's outside. Shush, Tataru, we have Aetherites anyways. No, we don't use Aetherites. We're gonna make use of her help, which is very kind of her. But why are you small though? I'm not small, I'm normal sized. Everyone else is just giant. Except normal people like Kulnar is here. We have some giants here sitting by the table. One of them has a fat cat. I'm not angry. Not angry. Alright, let's go down. I like how Annie used the Fantasia to make the world larger. Yeah, you know, I feel like being in a big world. Exactly.
Jealous of tall.
Oh, look at Tataru. Clothed up. Oh, by the way, I want to make sure that the sound for the new what do I call it? Reward thingy, sound effect, is not too loud. How does it feel compared to the other sound effects? It's slightly louder? Alright, I'm gonna turn it down a little bit more then. Because basically the point isn't for it to be loud and obnoxious. It's just supposed to be, you know, a little bit of a... It's not supposed to be like a pleasing sound, but it's not supposed to be like killing your ears either. I'm gonna turn it down another 10% and see how that feels. Let's see. There we go. Okay. I turned it down another 10%. Hopefully this feels better. I was thinking of doing Tataru cosplay when I enter Endwalker. Or rather, like, when I start the first, because I might enter Endwalker as, like... Yeah, like, when I start progressing Endwalker, basically. So in 5 minutes, yeah. I give you the Bonanza, the Science's very own airship. I built her as a company project with help from our friends at the Rising Stones, and named her for luck and prosperity. Tataru, this is amazing. We'll be able to fly just about anywhere we want. Our garments were impressive enough, but to build an entire airship? I see the annals did not exaggerate the many talents of the science-fabled coinkeeper. True. She's a very talented woman. Hee hee hee. I'd also introduce myself as your pilot, except the training didn't go quite as well as I'd hoped. But that's alright. because we've hired this capable fellow here instead. Is it Sid? Oh, who's this? Alright, the Bonanza is equipped with a full complement of mana cutters, by the way. Feel free to use them to get around Azizla. But enough talk, it's time to fly. All aboard. Bye. Bow, 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 bow. Noise. Oh, when is this law now? Honestly, Sid would be jealous of the way that airship flies. The tower has outdone herself. Anyway, here we are on Assist Law, and Alfino's report did not do the scale of this place justice. One quest done! Pog! One quest done! That's crazy! Yeah, we're literally speedrunning this. This appears to be Helix, which means we stand in the Alpha Quadrant. To the east lies the Beta Quadrant, and... yes, I believe I have my bearings. Though this is my first time on this law, I do have some familiarity with the place thanks to the records in the Crystal Tower. Unless I'm mistaken, this path leads to an Aetheryte, beyond which there will be an information terminal. I suggest we begin our search there. Time for some TT. I don't think there's any TT NPCs available for me. I think I've done everything that I have access to. So I actually just have to continue MSQ. Like, even if I want to continue TT, I don't think I can. I want to see where I am in the relic quest, because I forgot. Let's see. Sorry. I was wearing the wrong gear. Oh, nice. I can change that too. Okay. I need to farm etheric density by spamming A9s. How can I find out? Let's see. Oh yeah, I'm summoner. I'm not red mage for this. But my quest is not here. Oh. Etheric density level. What is this? Please insert materials. Eager to fashion another soulstone, I see. Then I shall procure more crystals. I will leave the Numite to you. When you have acquired 15, return here and load them into the processing node. Didn't I do this part already? You did? Do I need to do it more than one? What? It's repeatable? For a newborn soulstone? So this would be for another weapon, if anything. Only once per weapon. Okay, so I don't need this then. At the moment. I'm gonna abandon it to not confuse myself, because I've already done it. Okay. How come this is level 60 and so is this? How do I know, like, which one is which expansion? Level 60 means Heavensward. So are they both Heavensward? They're the same expansion to the same chain? Oh, I see. Wait. Luminous wind crystals. These fates. Isn't this old? Oh, it's because one is Scholar and one is Summoner. Did I really pick Scholar as my next one? Did I really decide to do another book? Okay. Alright. And here is the terminal. Hey, this is Lana. She only uses picture books. I do not use picture books, thank you very much. I'm an academic. I read, okay? Ah, there we are. Iconic corruption. An overview. That sounds promising. Indeed. Let us see what this report has to say. Confound it. The contents appear to have been deleted. What? No! Isn't there something you can do? Not from here, I'm afraid. But it may be that another copy of the report exists elsewhere. The question is where to look. It says here the report was written by someone named Owen. Is it likely that he kept a copy? I would say it is a distinct possibility. Assuming he was a researcher here, he will have headquarters on the Habisphere. We can ascertain the details that Habisphere control. Let us return to the Bonanza and avail ourselves of the Mana Cutters. We'll need them to reach our destination. Okay. I forgot. You already have a suitable means of transport, don't you? No need to waste time accompanying us back to the ship then. We'll see you at the Habisphere. Okay, so now they're allowing me to use the Aetherites. Whoa. I'm actually just flying to get there. Oh, you want to see my sister eat sand? What the hell? Down. The wisdom of Alog. Oh no, it is not good if we keep talking about yawning, because then I will just continue yawning, and that's not very good. That is not very good. If the late Owen did indeed have a chamber here, this node will be able to tell us its number. Okay. It's okay to feel tired, and you complete one whole quest. I'm not actually tired, I just yawn. I don't know, I just do that. I think it's because like it gets warm and I probably need to open a window for some fresh oxygen. There, from what I recall of the layout, it should be somewhere in the vicinity of warning, An evacuation order is presently in effect. Entry to the Hemisphere is not permitted at this time. Foiled again. In all likelihood, the order would have been imposed during the 4th Umbral Calamity, and I doubt it will be lifted in the near future. Bzzz. Energy level critical. Returning to base for recharging. Well, surely there must be some other ways to gain access. Force, for example? Ere we resort to that, I have an idea. Were we to send a surge of energy through yonder control mechanism, it should prompt the system to restart, releasing the locks. As for a suitable energy source, a concentrated lightning shard might suffice. Happily, I seem to recall that they are known to form at points of stagnant ether throughout the continent. You seem to recall? Are you honestly telling me that was in the records too? Ha, I am. A report sent to the capital mentioned that lightning aspect ether was prone to pooling on the continent, resulting in surges that interfered with equipment. A minor detail, I grant you, but in my role as caretaker of the Crystal Tower, there was no such thing as too much elegant knowledge. Besides, my studies helped me to feel connected to the source. To home. I must have explored this facility 1,000 times in my mind, but to finally stand here with the two of you, this more exhilarating than I can well express. I thought she was gonna do that! Now then, the lightning shard. If I may, I suggest we split up and search the Beta Quadrant. Oh, but beware of spiders. No, sprites. Why did I read spiders? They are wont to manifest where the ether is stagnant. Now you're just showing off. Which makes me think we should make a contest of this. The first to return here with the shard wins. What do you say? His face. Very well. It would be my honor to come third. Oh, you know, we should have more people like Graha. We should have more people like Graha. Alright, let's go this way. Chat, what is this girl doing and where is Annie? Wait, what do you mean? What did I do wrong? Okay, let's go. Oh, because I'm doing MSQ? Come on, that's not unusual. I always do MSQ when I say I'm gonna do it. Oh, look at that! That's a hunt. Wait, I'm summoner. I don't want to be summoner. I need to kill more of them? Yeah, I need to kill 2 apparently. Nice. Oh. Stagnant lightning. How are you level 78 on Summoner 2? Because of Pixie Dailies, I believe. That reminds me, actually. Level 80 quests. I should be Summoner. Yeah, I'm gonna swap to Summoner. It's actually smart to be Summoner here. Yeah, let's be Summoner. Do, 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 do. Bravo! That was quite a show, adventurer. Why, this spectacle proved so enthralling that all thoughts of the prize slipped my mind. I appear to have forfeited our little race. Congratulations. The lightning shard is yours. Who are you? Show yourself at once. What? No dramatic entrance? You've changed. You've changed? Do I know this person? Very funny. Now let's get back to work. Who are you? Yeah. Angry. Wait, that was him speaking? Forgive me, my friend. The scene so reminded me of our first meeting, I couldn't resist. Oh. Oh no. I didn't mean to make you feel bad. Don't say forgive me. He said the same thing they— Oh. Well, the contest continues, so you had better hurry back. But one last thing. Thank you, Amy, for bringing me here. Bruh. Okay. Doo-doo. Oh, I actually can't be summoner for MSQ. I notice now. Yeah. I should push my summoner to 80. It appears that Alicia had no luck, so victory is yours. Congratulations. Now then, may I have the shard? What is it that makes you so much better at finding things? What do you have that I don't? That is a question I too have asked myself on numerous occasions. I suspect we could both learn a great deal from Annie, and not only about the secrets of adventuring. But come, we should attend to our mission. Bolgia time, pixies. Excellent, the system responded exactly as intended. We now have access to the Habisphere. Only one obstacle remains, the security systems within. Should they be triggered, they could make life rather difficult for us. In light of which, pray leave the rest to me. If I am right, my royal blood should allow me to venture in unmolested. Okay. Assuming this place works like the Crystal Tower, yes. But if it doesn't, you'll be on your way. Oh, you'll be on your own. I want you to promise us that you'll get out at the first sign of trouble. I promise. Wish me luck. Alright, we're trusting him. Well, nothing for it but to sit tight. Oh. Sitting together. I'm sure this Owen fellow was very learned, but iconic corruption and overview sounds like a studium thesis. We all had to write one. Lest you wonder, mine was about the combat applications of ether. I'm nothing if not practical. Alfred's was more philosophical, of course. Political, dare I say it? He chose to write a lengthy discourse on our nation's duty to the world. A controversial subject, to say the least. He asserted that Charlin's knowledge should rightly be used to protect all life on the star, in direct opposition to the country's cherished policy of non-intervention. Being a leading member of the forum, our father was not happy. At the time, of course, Alfie was utterly convinced of his views and would cheerfully argue to the death with anyone who saw things differently. By which I mean the rows were long. To be fair to him though, he's since learned to be a little more open-minded, but deep down he still holds fast to that one belief. And I admire him for it. That's sweet. A little bit of wholesome siblingness. I should have liked to meet the young Alfie. For what it's worth, my thesis concerned the elegant civilization as depicted in folklore. Oh, you're back. I didn't know you attended the studium. I didn't. A thesis was required to earn my Archon's mark. My peers at the Students of Baldassian convinced me to write one with the promise of unfettered access to forbidden tomes. Oh. Though I considered it no more than a means to an end at the time, I will admit it was gratifying to have my efforts acknowledged. Good gods, an Archon's thesis. I shudder to imagine the work involved. But enough about that. Is this the fruit of your foray? Yes, Owen's archive node. It was waiting for me in his chamber. If a copy of this report still survives, it should be stored in this device. Shall we find out? Of his report, not this report. Bleep. Initializing. Scanning for registered user. User not found. To proceed as a guest, please complete biometric authentication. Bleep. Good afternoon, Flynn. IKEA bot. Do we give it a Swedish accent? Bleep. Verifying. Bloop. Authentication complete. Guest identified as member of the royal family. I am at your most humble service, Your Highness. It never ceases to amuse me. 'Tis but a pity the effect will not last forever. Doga and Une said as much when they granted me this gift, but until such time as it fades, I shall use it gratefully. Wait, it can fade? Like at some point he won't get past it? Search archive for iconic corruption. Bleep. Searching. Bloop. One item found. Iconic corruption in overview. The report is locked by the author. Please state password. Well, go on. Oh, that's not supposed to be Swedish. Well, go on then, Your Highness. Tell the nice node the password. Yep. Right. Let's see. Glory be to Alag. Did it work? Long live Emperor Zonda. No. Bleep bloop. Password incorrect. Please try again. Confound it. What if that was the password? Come now. Passwords are invariably short and simple. For instance. Password. Is the password really password? The notion that the password could be something so inane would be laughable were it not dangerously stupid. Furthermore, your conduct in the presence of His Highness is grossly inappropriate. Know your place, handmaiden. What the hell? That's so rude. He basically told her to STFU. He is very, very rude. Unbelievable. Okay, my legs are actually getting a bit cold. I think I need to put on socks at least, if not change to pants. I'll be right back. I'm back. I got my big socks. Ugh. Ugh. I can't believe the notes just said, know your place, handmaiden. Jesus. What's next? Get back to the kitchen? Unbelievable. What did that thing just call me? Wild Rose. Courage. Bleep bloop. Password incorrect. Again. Be warned that any further inappropriate behavior in the presence of His Highness will not be tolerated. Alright, that's it. I say we dismantle it and manually extract what we need. Now, let's not be too hasty. A single misstep and we risk losing the report altogether. I believe this may be a task for Sid and his colleagues. If anyone can coax Machina into cooperating, it is them. Why did I have a shock face first? Come, let us bear the node back to the Rising Stones. Oh, I forgot the Swedish accent. It's because the node was watching a lot of Netflix and then Americanized. Another quest done? Another quest done. 2 quests. Pog. World record pace, yeah. I should probably mention that I have yet to meet Sid since waking up. Rambros did send word to the Ironworks, but it appears our friend has been afield on urgent business. Nevertheless, I assure you my proposal to seek his help is no pretext, however much I might look forward to seeing him again. Him and everyone. But come, let us be on our way. Yep. Have I done the weapon trials? Is that the Shadowbringers trials? Because I don't think so. I don't think I did the Shadowbringer trials. You haven't? Yeah, okay. Hey, look at him, all but running. How sweet. Still, it wouldn't do to keep him waiting, shall we? Yeah, we have One Wing of Eden as well, which we have unlocked now. So we can do it soon. Let's see. Pray return to the Rising Stones. Bum, bum, bum. Wonderful news, Annie. Tatari contacted Sid on our behalf, and he is on his way here even as we speak. While we wait, I should like very much to hear what transpired at the Alliance Council. Would you be so kind, Kryl? As you know, the meeting was convened to discuss how best to respond to recent events in Garlemald. According to intelligence from our dominant allies, the War of Succession rages on, and the Empire remains without a leader. Okay. Amidst the chaos, the Imperial legions in the provinces have begun to move independently of the motherland. Of greatest concern to us is the Illard, a legion aligned with Lord Nerva. It appears they have received substantial financial backing from House Brutus. Third, oh my god. That said third? Is the third. A legion, oh my god, okay. Yeah, I knew that. Oh my god. Brutus, aren't they the ones who took in Yotsu and Asahi? This bodes well. Zeno's movements, meanwhile, remain shrouded in mystery. We're hoping that Thancred and Urianger will be able to shed some light on his activities when they return. Until such time as they do, the Allied leaders feel it would be unwise to interfere in the conflict. Okay. And so, thanks in part to the Imperial withdrawal from Gimlet, they have decided to turn their attention to the primal problem once more. Working with friendly factions among the beast tribes, they hope to reopen dialogue and explore new avenues for peace. No, I double-clicked! Given the timing, I suspect they wish to put the respective houses in order ahead of a decisive clash with the Empire. Whatever their intent, this is not a problem easily solved. The Leminzans, in particular, struggle in their efforts, and Alfie and Ishtola have been called upon to aid them. So long as we're dealing with the Tempered, I'm afraid no amount of dialogue will avail us. But if we can develop a treatment for tempering, then anything is possible. Which is why we must succeed. Yep. And on that cheery note, why not make yourselves comfortable in Dawn's Respite? I'll show Sid in as soon as he arrives. That's cute. Dawn's Respite is here. Waiting. Skipped. It was an accidental skip, but we went back and read it anyways, so technically nothing got skipped. Oh, Sid is here. Sid. Forgive us for not coming to see you sooner, my friend. As you may have heard, we've had our hands full. In our defense, you are up rather early. I was under the impression you'd be slumbering a while longer. Oh, I would have been, had you not fulfilled your promise. Huh, I still struggle with that idea. From where I stand, the secrets of traversing time and space seem exactly as unfathomable as they ever did. But if an alternate version of myself has already laid them bare, I dare say that frees me up to concentrate on other endeavors. Speaking of which, you wanted my help with something. What is it? I accidentally skipped all cutscenes, but then I watched them all on stream here, so it makes up for it, right? It's acceptable. It's acceptable. Just so, with nary a clue to guide us, we could be here forever and still not guess correctly. And thus we turn to you. Well, I'd love to say that we could help you. So I will. Once suitably configured, a magical terminal should make short work of identifying the password. Nice. I knew I could rely on you. Now, anticipating that it might be of use, I took the liberty of borrowing a tombstone from Rambrose. It contains an elegant dictionary. Nice. Good thinking. I'll transfer the information to the terminal and set it to work right away. Some years have passed and here we are, MSQ. Hasn't been years, okay? It's been months, okay? Okay, let's see. Ah, looks like it's finished. Let's see. Freedom. The password is freedom. Oh. Easy clap. Let's go. Huh, short and simple, just as I said. Would you care to do the honors, Your Highness? I would, milady. Wait. Was she speaking to him? Okay, let's go. Node. Open the report entitled Iconic Corruption in Overview. Password freedom. Opening report. Opening report. Oh shit. Owen speaking. This report seeks to provide an overview of the mechanism by which icons corrupt and bind men to their will. The phenomena we call corruption refers to the alteration of the ether of the soul. Said ether ordinarily exists in equilibrium. Said ether ordinarily exists in equilibrium, no one element being more prominent than another. But when a subject is exposed to the ether of an icon, this changes, their soul taking on the properties of the entity in question. By way of an example, exposure to the ether of the fiend Sephiroth would cause a subject's ether to become aligned with the element of earth. Okay. As a consequence, the subject would attain heightened affinity with earth-aspected magics, as well as preternatural levels of endurance. Repeated exposure would further enhance these traits, ultimately altering the subject's very flesh. Oh. So he doesn't look like a person anymore. He looks like an animal. Or elemental. The changes undergone by the subject are not solely attributable to elemental alignment, however. Further testing has determined that the subject's soul becomes umbrally charged or stagnant during the process. This stagnation of the soul has the effect of diluting sense of self, rendering the subject vulnerable to the will of the icon, the thoughts of whom come to consume their entire existence. Okay. In this manner do the corrupted become worshippers of the icon, their prayers serving to further empower the icon, the entity. Oh, we got punched. Having discerned the mechanism of iconic corruption, my colleagues and I set out to develop a material capable of shielding one from its effects. An endeavor in which we were successful, albeit it at great cost. In the course of testing, many of my assistants, good men and women all, fell victim to corruption, and in accordance with protocol, they were summarily put to death. I can't read. I subsequently submitted a proposal to investigate potential cures for corruption, but it was rejected, deemed non-essential by Lord Ammon. Though I knew it would be fruitless, I protested the decision, and for my impertinence, I have been stripped off rank and title and will shortly be expelled from this facility. In all likelihood, this report will be expunged from the archives. Nonetheless, I record it in the hope that one day someone will undertake to do that which I could not and find a cure for the victims of iconic corruption. End recording. Is Annie drunk again? I'm not drunk at all, no! I'm not drunk. So not even the Allegans were able to find a cure. Or rather, were not given the chance to do so. One cannot help but wonder what motivated Lord Ammon's decision. More importantly, this confirms the stagnation of the soul is indeed the problem, and Angelo can remedy that. True, yet were we simply to reanimate a tempered soul, I fear would do naught to diminish the individual's fanatical faith. Indeed, it may well intensify it. That's a good point. I'm not drunk. I drink so seldom, actually. I drink so seldom. I'm gonna be right back. I'm feeling like I'm still yawning. Still feeling a bit like tired. So I'm gonna get some fresh air, stretch my legs, and then we come back and read more. I'll be right back. Getting another drink? No, we're not getting drinks. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Whew, no more yawning. No more yawning. Let's do this. I need to open the window here too. It's getting too warm. It's really warm. Welcome back to Drink Some Nice Booze. When I'm feeling a little bit sleepy, which happens when it's like warm and stuff, the last thing I want to do is drink alcohol. Alcohol will make me get even more sleepy. Weren't you cold 30 minutes ago? Yeah, but it's like both. I think it's like, it's warm. You know when you get slightly sleepy, you start feeling a little bit cold. I think it was like one of those like fake colds. Cat in the window, it's fine. It's, the window doesn't open. Whew. Okay. Let's continue. No, we would somehow need to suppress the primal's hold over the subject at the same time, or risk them ever remaining its thrall. If we could only make them remember who they were. So there's no point in reviving their souls unless we can also restore their sense of self. But of course, memory transference. The process has the effect of compartmentalizing memories, separating them into manageable bundles, if you will. By adapting the technique, it may be possible to achieve selective reanimation. That is, limit the effects to only those memories that existed prior to tempering. Through thus restoring the sense of self, we could theoretically drown out the incitements of false faith which had come to dominate the individual's thoughts. I see. The theory seems sound, and our experience treating the light corrupted would help us to identify suitable memories for reanimation. But are you confident you can adapt memory transference as required? I seem to recall your attempts to do so while trying to bring us home culminated in literal bloodletting. Literal. They did. You're right. Despite my best efforts, I could not recreate the mechanism. And I can see that the rather clumsy compromise I reached would not provide the basis for a cure. Then perhaps it's better that we consider another approach. Your doubts are understandable, but this time I believe we have reason to be confident. You see, nodes such as this were built with the ability to simulate magics. Which leads me to believe that it may be capable of performing simulations of the transference technique. If so, we would be able to conduct years' worth of tests within the space of a few days. Ah. It's like a computer. In theory, it would be no different from how we identified the password. But it'll take more calculating power. A lot more. I honestly couldn't say whether our equipment would be up to the task. Tell me, Sid, why do you suppose Owen locked his report behind a password? To keep it from prying eyes, of course. Why else? Wait. A password that could be guessed by anyone with leisure and a dictionary wouldn't keep it from a person minded to look. No, he wanted his report to be seen by those who strive for freedom. Not unlike the members of a certain distinguished engineering collective. I believe their motto was freedom through technology, or some such. You two, round up as many Magitech terminals as you can find and bring them to the workshop. Right away, Chief. Ah. Yay! Tataru cheering. So cute. Things are about to get very busy. Lucky we have you to help, eh? Nice. Speak with Sid. Right, while Gratia and I configure the terminals, I want the rest of you to procure supplies. Namely, ceruleum to fuel the terminals and ice shards to keep them cool. The more we have of both, the better. Leave the ice shards to me. I'll round up some adventurers and go on a gathering spree. In that case, I'll trust Ian and Alize with the ceruleum. Here's a promissory note for each of you. A what? Promissory. Okay. Take them to the Sky Steel Manufactory in Ishgard and the ceruleum processing plant in Thanalan. The people there will give you what we need. Okay. Yours is a well-known face in the Holy See, I believe. If it's all the same to you, I'll head to Thanalan. Okay. Kurthus. Let's go. Time to do Sid's chores. Yeah. What's Tari been doing in the room? How does she expect to help? Go answer the phones? Tataru? What do you mean go answer the phones? Tataru does everything. This way. From below, you stand in the Sky Steel Manufactory. What is it you require? So you're after ceruleum. In that case, please present the note to our engineer at the airship landing. He shall be glad to assist you. The airship landing. Okay. Afternoon, chat. Good afternoon, Rubik's. Oh, here we go. And we need to go to the higher ends. And then go here. Nice. Down, down. Ceruleum, you've come to the right man. Fair warning though, the price has shot up on account of this uncertainty with the Empire, so I hope you've got the the coin. Well now, a promissory note from the Ironworks. Don't see many of these. Not that it's a problem. It's as good as gold to me. Wait, that was quest done? Oh my god! I missed that. That's insane. That's crazy. Yeah, I'm going so fast now. Oh! Baymeric is here!
My friend! After the disappointment of not seeing you in Alamigo, what good fortune to chance upon you here of all places.
Nice.
As you may have heard, the allied nations are making a renewed effort to address the primal problem. To that end, have I invited the chieftain of the Vanu to Ishgard. That we might
Vanu?
together plot a course.
What are the chances? I just did their dailies today. I should do the sun drop dance.
Since the war with the Empire appears to be nearing its conclusion, I would also like to call upon Estinian's lance. Alas, he is, as ever, a difficult man to find.
Estinian.
I am informed he recently paid a visit to the Rising Stones. Should he happen to do so again, be sure to pass on my regards, won't you?
He must be disgusted that I'm a Lala now. Excuse me? That's not true. That's not true. In fact, I heard him a little bit earlier on. He was like, something looks different about you. In a good way. He definitely confirmed said that. Definitely confirmed said that.
But tell me, what business brings you to our fair city this day? A cure for tempering. You never cease to amaze me. Until now,
He's always so
our only hope has been
impressed.
prevention, our every failure irrevocable. But this would rewrite the rules of engagement. It could end the
True.
cycle of bloodshed.
Yeah, it would.
Very well. You shall have all the ceruleum we can provide.
Nice.
And an airship with which to transport it.
An airship too.
In this matter, you may count on Ishgard's full support.
Full support, Pog. Nice. Bye. You know, the last date me and Amrik had, he kind of just like got a phone call and left, right? Maybe if we have a date again and this time I'm Malala, he'll be like, you know what, that phone call is not important. What do you think? The phone call was for you. Alice had collapsed. Wait, the phone call was for me? I thought it was for him. Oh. Well, why didn't I tell them that they should ignore the phone call? That would have been the right move.
Who would have thought ceruleum weighed so much?
Yeah, I don't know. Alice, I feel like you're complaining a bit much. Just a bit much, I think.
Serves me right for being stubborn, I suppose. I should have just done what you did and accepted help.
True. You should have accepted help.
Good work, you two. This is all we asked for and more. Quite a lot more now that I look at it.
No, Tatari keeping count of everything.
Lord Emmerich, eh? And entirely by chance. Ha! Some people have all the luck.
I mean, we're just meant to meet, you know? So it's like we could be anywhere and we're gonna meet because we're meant to meet, you know? Nothing can stop us.
We have also succeeded in configuring the terminals. thanks in no small part to our able assistant.
Configuring terminals. Oh,
It's been a while, hero.
Nero.
You seem surprised to see me.
Yeah, we haven't
Lest
seen
you
you in a while.
misunderstand, I've no interest in such things as cures for tempering.
Okay, so why are you here?
But if you mean to achieve that which eluded even the storied Allagans, it seemed plain that you would require my expertise. And so it proved. Is that not right, Garland?
Is that not right, Garland?
For all the effort it took to track you down after your latest disappearing act, you could find the cure for death, and it wouldn't be worth the trouble.
Whoa! Big regrets?
That wasn't the only reason I agreed to cooperate.
Okay.
I'm reliably informed that Garland and I are destined to unravel the secrets of travel not only across dimensions, but through time.
Okay.
Doubtless the lion's share of the credit lies with me. 9 parts to Garland's 1. And this research will be a stepping stone to that illustrious achievement.
The lion's share of the credit lies with me. 9 parts to Garland's 1. And this research will be a stepping stone to that illustrious achievement. Okay.
Very well then. I'll do 1/10 of the work. Just the part that's beyond you.
Okay.
Whatever you say, Garland.
Whatever you say.
By the way, the healing applications of crystal foci proved very useful in getting us to where we are now. I must remember to thank Mikoto.
Mikoto. Yep.
Right. If everyone's ready, let's begin.
Let's begin. Good plan. Yeah, Kryl approves. Kryl approves.
All appears to be in order. Now, we just have to wait for it to find us our magic. Why not take this opportunity to put your feet up? This may take a while.
Okay. Telling us to take a break from MSQ. Question mark, question mark. He quite literally did. Time for dailies. They haven't reset yet, sadly. Oh, they're all actually sleeping while sitting. Just lay down. Oh? Oh?
Damn it. It's overloading.
Uh-oh. What's going on? It's overloading.
She won't last much longer.
No, I accidentally clicked too early. His
We'll
voice
have to shut it
got
down.
cut. Oh no!
Wait! We're close. So very close.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Well, this is going swimmingly.
Well, Nero, can you do something about it? Or are you just gonna be smart and
Please,
rude from
a
the
moment
side?
longer. I beg you.
A moment longer.
There.
Oh! Oh, it shut down. Or did they shut it down?
I was able to memorize the magic before it faded.
Oh!
It still needs to be put to the proof, but I believe we have our cure.
Wow. Yay! We made it?
It's just as well. She'll never run again.
Feels bad,
The
man.
fault is mine. I'm sorry.
Don't
I'm
be.
sorry.
It may fall short of dimension hopping, but a cure for tempering is not to be sniffed at.
True.
This, my friend, is a world-changing discovery. One we're proud to have had a hand in.
Mm-hmm.
A few Magitech terminals are a pittance to pay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we've done what we can. The rest is up to you.
Do, 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 do. Oh, another one complete. Two potato. Thank you very much for the 4-month resub. Thank you, thank you. 3 quests done. Isn't this 4 quests? No? Oh. That was 3. I thought I missed 1 quest being done. This is the start of 4. Okay. Hi, this is for the new player from look for new multiplayer but don't want to have to do heaps of research like PoE. Oh yeah, it's a lot more new player friendly indeed. And for the most part, when you're getting into the game, in many ways it's a solo player experience. As you're going through the MSQ, which is a it's like the story that ties the whole game together throughout all expansions. So you're kind of just doing quests and reading stories for a long time before you get into anything. And once you start getting into anything, it's a lot simpler system than PoE. PoE is rough. You need to, research and stuff. You don't need to research anything in FF14. I mean, of course you can research certain things if you want to, dive deeper into it, but in general, shouldn't be as necessary as PoE. Bum, 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 bum. I don't know why I'm so sleepy today. Trying to, breathe as well. I don't have much water left either. Stand up a bit, maybe. I don't have my cables done for me to be able to do that. Stop breathing. Yeah, we can try some stretches. That's true. Oh. Sub day yesterday. I mean, that's true. It was actually a really long day yesterday. Because I was also out before that, with family. And then... yeah, it's probably also because of that. I also do tend to get a bit sleepy in general when I'm reading a lot. And MSQ is a bit of reading, so... that also does make me a bit sleepy. I stopped streaming on alt channel around 2 AM, I think. And after a long day, that was really late. Yeah, I'm not sleeping, just taking a nap. Yeah, my older days of streaming used to be worse. And that's also why I started having energy drinks and stuff to not be so sleepy. Because in the past it was yeah, it was really bad. But usually having a little bit of energy drink is enough, but today it seems it's a bit harder. Probably because of a long day yesterday. Taking a walk helps me. Yeah, so I try to open like door or balcony, get some fresh air that way, and that normally helps me too, refreshes me. But today, like, none of it is waking me up properly. Can I link a video guide about staying awake? No. I'm gonna used to not like energy drinks because they all had sugar. Must like the DMs once it was sugar free and true. I actually always I was not a fan of drinking sugar. I really didn't want to add sugar to my like daily diet, I guess you could call it. Was why you was on so early this morning? Oh, after yesterday? Yeah, it's true actually. It's true. I can't drink sugary drinks anymore. Why? What happens when you do? How long do you sleep? Like 2-3 hours? You think I only slept for 2-3 hours? Ice cream has sugar. Yeah, that's another thing. I sometimes eat ice cream when I'm feeling tired. But I don't have any ice cream right now. I stopped drinking all carbonated beverages but still have coffee. Yeah. Was carbonated bad for you? I have ice cream. Thanks for the reminder, Amy. Enjoy. Enjoy. Amy's still young, but will be only 6 or 7 hours. Honestly, I think I'm just that kind of person. I'm always gonna sleep a lot. Is it like yeah, yeah. But isn't it like when people get really old, they turn around and become like sleepy again? So like when you're really young, it's like a lot of hours, and then it goes down. And then when you're really old, like 60 plus, you start like, or like 70, then you start sleeping a lot again. Because isn't it like, I don't know, maybe I'm thinking wrong, but kind of like cats where they like just always sleep, sort of, no? My mom wakes up when she's 63. Yeah, I think I'm thinking like older than that. I'm thinking like, you know, age when you can't work anymore kind of thing. So like, I guess more like 70. Do people at 70 still sleep very little? Only sick old people sleep a lot? Okay. I can't speak for all old people, but my grandma can sleep at night full on periods, but cat naps throughout the day. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. I have this image of older people like napping randomly during the day, but that's maybe because they don't sleep fully at nighttime. Every old person I know wakes up at 5 in the morning. Okay. My grandmother is 85 and sleeps very little. Okay. So I guess they all do sleep very little. But maybe they still have their AKA cat naps to accompany the very little sleep, I guess. Yeah, very old person I know goes to bed early and wakes up really early. Yeah. I can nap. Yeah, I can nap like anywhere, anytime. I get really sleepy all the time. I can sleep for 8 hours. I can sleep 10 hours, like at night, whatever. It doesn't matter. Next day I'll still be napping. Sleep is a bitch. Always wake up and interrupt my deep sleep. Oh, feels bad, man. I need just 9-10 hours to feel rested. I feel the best when I sleep 9-10 hours. I can do 8, maybe pushing to 7, but I'm gonna have like slight eye soreness and general sleepiness. I can sleep 12 hours too, yeah. Like some people, when they sleep a lot, they get headaches. Or maybe a lot of people, maybe not just some people. I've never experienced headache from sleeping too much. And I've slept long hours. If I wake up too late, I just get more tired. Yeah, like that doesn't happen to me either. I do if I go over 6 hours. Really? Over 6 hours? 10 hours plus get backaches. Sometimes if I generally have a backache, like I can sometimes feel that my back is extra tense when I've been doing like multiple long streams in a row, like if I've done multiple 12-hour streams in a row. In those days, laying down doesn't feel as comfortable as other times, but the number of hours that I sleep doesn't matter though. But yeah, it does sometimes like wake me. Got lucky with RNG. In terms of sleepiness, I mean, I do see it as a... It's like pros and cons, right? I get more sleepy than the average person. So sometimes that can be annoying when you're trying to like be out and do things. Because I kind of like feel like I need to sleep. Rather than like, let's go to the next activity. But yeah, I do think it's better to be, luckily for me, like this way rather than the opposite direction of not being able to sleep. Yeah, like insomnia. So I rather have this thing where I need to sleep too much than the problem of like not sleeping enough. I've needed sleep pattern anything from 4 to 14 hours. 4 hours? No, I cannot. I can't really function below. Like, it depends also. Like, I can do one day with a bit less sleep. With less sleep, I mean like 6-7 hours, right? Maybe one day. But if it's like a second or a third day, like, it becomes really bad. I take over 1 hour just to fall asleep sometimes. Sometimes I feel that when I can't fall asleep, the thing that usually happens for me, at least, I notice, is when I'm scrolling Twitter or in general scrolling like high activity content, you know, like Twitter is like every conversation is a new topic, keeps your brain like engaged, or like if you're scrolling TikTok, keeps your brain engaged. I try to avoid those type of apps, and instead what I do, like I accept like, okay, I can't sleep right now, but what I'm gonna do instead is I'm gonna put on a show. And when I put on a show like Netflix, it's not like that type of, you know, high engagement or high content pace. It's more like a natural pace of like a movie, and I usually fall asleep to that. I know people say like avoid screens, you know, before going to bed, etc., etc. But I find that watching shows actually like helps me a lot. I really like I like the ambience, or like the sound of like talking people in a random show, and like little noises here and there. It helps me. But I do know that people say you should avoid being on a screen before sleeping. But yeah, I find that things like Twitter and TikTok is not good. It just keeps me awake and alert. But things like watching a show or movie kind of works. Come to the FC house and RP walking first person upstairs to the left. Finish that thing I made. I think you'll like. Oh, okay, all right. I'll check it out soon. I'll check it out soon. I have to have a show on to fall asleep. Yeah, I find it very comforting. It's like, yeah, it's a comfortable thing. Yeah, did my stream lag? I just got a pop-up Windows bug. Weird. Strange. Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened. My games in the background also crashed. Oh, it says a fatal DirectX error has occurred. Oh, FF actually crashed too. Okay, everything actually crashed. Everything crashed. Oh, okay, give me a second. Down. Everything crashed. Okay, let's get in. My graphic drivers? No, I've been keeping things updated, I think. Okay, I think we're good now. I think it was just a momentarily bug. Seems okay. Let's see. Counts. Okay. Okay, I think I'm feeling more awake again. So I think we can go for... let's go for another one. Let's go for another quest. Quest number 4, was it? Yes. At long last, we have our cure. Oh, we do? In theory, at any rate. We cannot be certain until such time as we put it to the proof, but I'm quite confident. Well, if we're to test it on someone, then I suggest Gabu. His symptoms are relatively mild. It'll be fine. I'm sure of it. Yes, as long as we exercise due caution, it'll be fine. Without further ado then, let's make for Limsa. We've kept Gabu waiting long enough. Down, 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 down. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Speak with, yeah. Laminza. Laminza. Oh, maybe it's a good time to clear my bags as well, actually. Since I'm in a city, finally. Okay, let's do this. Okay, this can be just vendored. Max potion, super potion, potion. These things aren't worth much, right? Yeah, I'll just delete them. Okay, what about these things? 200. Actually, since we have... Wait, we only have one. Was it 200? Okay. Leather. So useless. Okay, just vendor. 2,399. 2,399. There we go. Not bad. Mudstone is useless, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, let's check this one out. This is also pretty useless. 277. It's like borderline useless. It's pretty useless, to be honest. Adamantoise shell is pretty useless. Ball mash, this is also useless. Yeah, nope. Delete that. Coke. Coke sells for 400? Alright, I'm gonna get rich on Coke. Iron ore. No. Back in my days. Alright, we're selling that too. Oh, this was the, what? Oh, the police is here. Yeah, nothing is happening. 359. 359. No, stop it. Hide your bags. Yeah. Okay, retainers, sell those. We can sell these. 695. 695. Hands up. 4789. 4789. I actually bought these to hand in to the what was I gonna say? The Dominant Enclave. Yeah, that's why. We don't need these. Ah! No. No. So retainer, retainer, magic prisms. I don't remember how that looks like. Speed blend. It's chocobo stuff. Moogle miniature. Why am I not using this in the house? Giant Popoto pancakes. Alright, we're selling this. That's it. Okay. Okay, that's the best we can do with our inventory for now. Alright. No, they're not Lala pancakes. You cannot eat Lalas, okay? Lalas go well with hamburgers. No, they don't. You exchange the butterfly wings for a giant beaver minion? Oh, really? Huh. I feel like it's worth running those extremes for more reason than just the mountain. Like, it's pretty good. I guess that's also why you guys like doing it. Lalas are friends, not food. Exactly. The Hades extreme match is worth 1 million. Yeah, let's progress it and get better at it. For sure. For sure.
QTS mega announcement. Lola's our best in beef stew, people happy.
Lala's are best in beef stew? What the hell? Obsidian! Oh my god, you actually have a megaphone emote. Yeah, you paying $10 to insult? What the heck? What the heck? Why would you do that? That's not okay. Oh my god. I love a megaphone emote, actually. Yeah, we should get something like that. Oh, you got more. Look at that. Yeah, I like megaphone emotes. I need one. I need one. Okay, let's see. Go here. Oh yeah, let's go to FC House after the quest's here then. Well, this is the moment of truth. I'll have our host bring Gabu to us at once. Moment of truth.
Apologies for the wait.
Apologies for the wait. Poor little Gabu.
Gabu, have you been good?
Dot dot dot.
Still no change, I'm afraid. He just stands there in silence until we move him.
Aww.
It's all right now. We're going to help you get better.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna help.
Fancy meeting you here.
Alphino Y'shtola! I thought you were attending to primal matters.
Everyone's here.
We were, and came here for a meeting on the subject. Certain pirate factions did not deign to attend, however, and it was cancelled.
Oh.
We had resigned ourselves to having wasted a journey when we chanced to espy you. Could it be that there has been progress with the treatment?
Hmm.
Using Magitech terminals to formulate the solution. I would never have contemplated such an approach.
So this new magic, adapted from memory transference, would be used to purge the subject of their fanatical faith, while Angelo would be responsible for reanimating the ether of their soul. Yet I wonder at the practicalities. If one were to reanimate the soul first, it would only serve to exacerbate the tempering. Conversely, a stagnant soul would not respond to the effects of the magic.
That's right.
Would both need to be performed simultaneously.
That sounds scary.
Ah, nothing escapes Master Matoya's inquiring eye.
Yep.
As you say, both must be carried out simultaneously. And thus, I propose to imbue Angelo with the tempering treatment in much the same manner as I did the spirit vessels.
Okay. Hello, Angelo.
By doing so, we also spare Graha the trouble of casting spell after spell. It's really rather efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Be that as it may, certain difficulties are unavoidable. The imbuing process will still require no small amount of ether.
Okay.
And as I can no longer draw upon the Crystal Tower's stores of energy, I will be compelled to rely on those of others.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I, for one, would be glad to assist.
Aw, how kind of you, Alfie.
As would I. Since the resumption of our duties, it has been naught but stuffy meetings, and I have ample ether to spare.
Nice.
Excellent. With your permission, then, let us begin.
Let's go. All right, we're empowering him.
Yes, this will do.
Nice. He's feeling powerful. Oh, they're tired.
And now, it's my turn.
Oh, now he's... Okay, he's buffing Angelo. Oh.
'Tis done.
All right, Angelo, now it's your turn.
No small amount indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we seek to go where even the Allegans did not. It was never like to be easy. The rest is up to you, Alize. The treatment itself will take time and focus. So
Time
we will
and
need a
focus.
quiet
Okay.
room.
Oh, we have to go
I'm
somewhere
sure our
else?
hosts can spare one.
Okay.
I will go with her. It may be a while before we return, so I would ask for your patience and your faith.
Prager for some faith.
We'll bring Gabu back. You see if we don't.
Prager for some faith here. Annie's pray.
'Twould seem our part is played.
Annie's pray.
Let us find a place to recuperate while we wait for news.
All right, sounds good. Oh, another quest complete? Well, this seems as good a spot as any to have a rest.
For years, Eorzea has labored to find a solution to the primal problem, without success. Any hope that tempering could be reversed faded long ago.
Faded long ago.
I myself had given it up as impossible. Given up on the tempered and the light corrupted alike. They were problems to be tolerated, or else eliminated, I believed. And to think otherwise was pure naivety. Childishness, even.
Imagine the child calling things childish.
But Alize refused to give up.
She did.
She struggled and she struggled. And her efforts were rewarded with a way to bring back Halric.
Mm-hmm.
And now countless others may no longer be beyond salvation.
True.
However much we bicker, I have the greatest respect for my sister.
Aww.
Had I half her stubbornness, nay, her unwillingness to accept the status quo, I would be a far better person. A
Aww.
far better scion.
Admiring his own sister. Well, if it's any consolation, she's in awe of your work. Tell her. Yeah. Don't tell me, tell her.
I should, I know. Yet, despite my good intent, I have the feeling that I would only succeed in incurring her ire.
Incurring her ire? Is that making her angry? Oh! What? What happened? What? Is this how tired she
Alisaie,
got?
Are you all right?
After using the spell?
The treatment. Did it work?
Don't know.
Oh, I'm so glad to
Oh!
see you all. Delighted, happy, glad.
It worked!
Gaboo!
Gaboo is back! Alisaie just needs some rest. It's okay. Aww. It actually worked. That's amazing. That's amazing.
All
Yeah, the
this
voice.
time, my mind was filled with thoughts of Great Father Titan.
Did Gabu ever have a voice before? Or was it all just text quests? Back in the day. Because I don't remember if he ever had a voice. It was only text, right? Yeah, I think so too. Of Great Father Titan. Yeah, first time as a voice actor.
I never forgot about Mother and Father. Always,
No,
they
I
were in
remember.
my heart. Constantly, ever, always.
Constantly, ever, always.
So I tried to focus on their faces. Theirs and yours. Alisaie's and everyone's. And I found that I could remember. One thing, then another, and another.
Mm-hmm.
Your hopes reached Gaboo. They helped him to hold on.
That's amazing.
I'm so proud of you, Gaboo.
Gaboo.
I couldn't have done it without you, Alisaie. Can you help the others too? Cure them, heal them, help them.
Help them.
Yes.
We're gonna try.
Can. All of them.
All of them.
Without wishing to dampen the mood, I feel compelled to add certain caveats regarding the viability of the treatment for general use.
Okay.
As you know, reversing the effects of tempering demands a profuse amount of ether. And while Alisaie was able to heal Gaboo alone, I fear the same will not be true for those who exhibit more advanced symptoms.
Yeah. Like she was knocked out almost with this.
Moreover, the treatment's effects are limited to the soul. It offers no succor to those whose very flesh has been altered through prolonged exposure to a primal's influence. All of which is to say that we cannot save everyone.
Yeah.
Maybe we can't, or maybe we can. No one gave us a hope of saving Gaboo, and yet here we are.
I mean, that's also
Find
true.
a way to treat as many as possible.
She has a point. Maybe there's no point like setting the limitations now when we haven't even started.
Then the next logical step would be to produce a veritable army of Porkses, would it not? Granted, it seemed a simple enough process in the first, but I suspect it will be different here in the source. Not that I am any authority, of course.
Authority.
Yet there is an authority on familiars to whom we may grudgingly turn. She's stubborn, haughty, eccentric, irascible, laconic, annoying.
Annoying!
And her name is Master Matoya. The real one.
The real Master Matoya. My Master Matoya is not annoying, okay?
I have to go now, Gabu. But the people here will look after you, all right? And I promise to come and visit you again soon.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Alize. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That was another quest completed. That was another quest completed. This will be quest number 5, is it? 4 quests done, yeah. And she will be at pains to remind me. I have not paid Master Matoya a visit since returning from the first. But this seems as good a time as any. Come, let us make for her cave. In the ruling quarter.
Anish.
Anish. Imperial with a 13-month resub. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you for the reminder also. Yes, let's go FC real quick. We're gonna check out the upstairs. We're gonna check out the upstairs. Yeah. I have to admit, I am very tired today. You said this next quest has a dungeon? Then I think I definitely want to do it. Stop with the yawns. No. No. Whoa. It's dark. Is it meant to be this dark? Steel Rain with the 12 months. A whole year. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, I see a door here. RP in first person? Okay, 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 okay. Alright, let's see. Do we do this? It's not first person, but I like seeing my character. Oh, that's a beautiful painting. Look at that. Oh, oh, this is so pretty. Is this my office? Oh wait, is this like a memorial? For Emmett? It's Emmett's shrine. Yeah. Oh my god, I noticed now because the candles. At first I thought like a table with a book, it's my office. But then I saw the candles. I saw the candles. This is really pretty. This is really pretty. Okay, I'm gonna light one of the candles here. Alright. I lighted that one now. Yep. There it is. That was already lit? No, I lit it. I lit it. This is a really nice room. Thank you for making this. Tataru is also here. Yeah, Tataru is also here. Where'd you get the Emmett picture asking for a friend? I don't know. Does anyone know? Vexero? You want to share your secret? Spoilers? Okay. So it's an Endwalker, I guess. This room looks nice and has a desk. Is it my office? Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Then I saw the candles and I was like, this is not an office. Yeah, you can whisper each other on Twitch then. You can whisper each other on Twitch. Oh, hi, Luna. Hi. How many quests is 5.4, by the way? $11. I'm that slow? Okay. I thought it was like nearing the end. Alright. Yeah, this is really pretty. I want to take a screenshot of this actually. Wait. Here we go. Down, 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 down. Let's see, where's the screenshot? Screenshots. You posted where to get it in the FF Spoilers channel Discord for those interested. Okay, yeah, so there you go. You can join the Discord and check the Spoilers channel if you want to know how to get this. Down, 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 down. Do, 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 do. I don't know what to put in a tweet. What I do in my pastime. Yeah? Does that make sense? Put a heart? I'm not sure if I like that. How I stall MSQ? No! Take the screenshot now? No. We've got these long-legged weird creatures. We don't want them included. The only man I'll ever need. But he's dead. Can't need someone like that. If he wasn't, then I would, yeah. Does what I do in my pastime make sense English-wise? Like, is that English? Is that correct English? Past time? It's not past time, is it? What I do in my past time? Really? What I do in my spare time is more common. Oh my god, I've never realized it's past time. Pastime, one word? Really? Okay, I'll just change it to spare time for now, but holy moly. Spare time is 2 words, right? Pastime is like 2, not the free time itself. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was referring to the free time itself. Alright, I'm tweeting it. I thought I'd heard the phrase of doing in my pastime. Pastime. As in, like, this is what I do to pass time. I thought that was a way to describe that. I guess not. I can't see anything. Gazing at anime is my pastime. Is my. Interesting. So you can't say in my. Okay. What? Stop making me jump. Oh, look at Scarlet. Pastime is a thing you do, not a time you use. I see. No! Don't be the scary demon warrior! Luna, did you see that? Did you see that? Are you biting me? What the hell, Luna? I'm trying to get this hair off my face. Ah, what the heck? Okay, you are going away from here. No. No attention to you. She just straight up bit me. What the heck? I wasn't even annoying her. I told her to. Alright. Wait, why is Kulnars telling us off? What the hell, Kulnars? What are you telling us off for? Can't just tell us off like that. Oh, you're dad cred. Oh no. He's dad cred, so dad cred is telling us off. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm gonna, yeah. I got bit by my cat, so I'm gonna turn into a cat. I find it funny that she's pointing her sword. Yeah, you tall person. You have been pierced. And you tall person too. Sure. Alright, Lala's, you're good. Oh, that's a beautiful staff. No, don't pierce yourself. No, you did not. No, stop it. Alright, okay. Let's see, where were we now? Okay, yeah, we're gonna speak to Ishtola. We are about to speak to Ishtola. Let's go. No, 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 no! You did not just die! No. Alright. We're safe still. Oh my god. Can llamas please stop dying? We are already a very, what's the word? A breed in danger, okay? So we can't afford that. We can't afford that. Endangered, yes. That's the word I was looking for. Yes, endangered. Oh, I can't fly here. Alright, let's go here. Oh, now we can fly. I should find out where some of the cards that I need are from. I had that list, right? Is it exclamation mark TT? No. Do you remember what site I used to use to collect TT cards? ARR triple triad. I'm pretty sure it was this one. Yeah. This is the one. $85. Oh, apparently I can get this from an NPC. So I should probably go and get it. It also drops from an instance, actually. Bismarck. Oh, we already finished Bismarck. Right? We already did the extremes and got the mount and everything. So I think I should just go and fight the NPC. But it might be a really low drop chance or something. It's 6%. No, 13% from the NPC. And 3% from the extreme. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I'm gonna fight the NPC.
Nary a word from you all this time. Then you bring every man and his pirogo with you. Did no one teach you any manners, girl?
They were too busy teaching me etherology, Master. Jesting aside, I wanted to be the one to express our gratitude. I am told you spared no effort to sustain our bodies while we were away. And for that, we owe you our lives. Thank you.
Thank you.
You were gone so long. I was starting to think you'd set your heart on staying.
It wasn't easy to leave, as it happens. Seldom does one have the opportunity to study other worlds, and I would not have minded extending my stay by a handful of years.
By a handful of years?
Ever the scholar. Y'shtola dedicated herself to studying ancient civilizations of the First, befriending a tribe known as the Knights Blessed in the process. There she took on the name of Matoya and won the respect of all the children of the forest.
She did. Wait, why are they looking at him like that? Wait, why was that weird?
I merely adopted an alias in accordance with the custom of.
Isn't that what she did?
Yours just
The name
to be the first name that
was
came
meant to be
mind.
secret? I mean, that was literally what she did. Identity theft.
You mean to tell me you went gallivanting about using my name and only bother to visit when you need a favor? And don't pretend you don't. I taught you long enough.
Uh-oh. What the heck, Alfie?
Indeed. And devoted pupil that I am, I could not fail to recall my master's sage advice. When the answer eludes you, look to the wisdom of
Good
your
thing to
elders.
remember, Y'shtola. She's good with her words too, isn't she? True.
You there. Were you going to introduce yourself?
Mm-hmm.
How remiss of me. Grahatia is my name, and I'm proud to call myself a scion.
Mm-hmm.
I too wish to offer my gratitude for your invaluable aid in sustaining the Archon's bodies, as well as my apologies. It was my inexpert summoning spell which endangered their lives in the first place.
Ah,
Confessions.
yes. The one bent on digging up the mysteries of Alag. Old Galaf used to speak of you, and Kryles told me all about your recent exploits.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a bad back or something? At ease, boy. Whatever mess you've made, I'm not in the habit of dwelling on the failings of the younger generation.
Okay. How nice of you, Matoya.
You are too kind. I've also heard much and more about you, Master Matoya. 'Tis an honor to finally make your acquaintance.
'Tis an honor. Graha
Well,
hearts.
that's more than enough pleasantries for anyone. Tell me what you want. I haven't got all day.
Oh, it looks so silly.
So that's the way of it. It should be a simple enough matter to make the familiar. The magic, on the other hand.
Yeah.
Ah, that you may leave to me. Being the only one possessed of royal blood, I alone can imbue the subject with the necessary magic.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So I just need to create porxes with the power to stir the soul.
Correct.
Just, I say. Though we're talking about a veritable herd of the little buggers, we'd collapse before we reached double figures.
Okay. So how are we gonna do it?
But if I could get a familiar to create the familiars, a mother porxie, as it were.
Angelo is a guy, right? So we need to find a girl?
Seems I haven't seen the last of that moldy old hole after all.
Moldy old hole. Yeah, we need to meet Mother Bacon. Alright, off to my old workshop then. Everything required to make you familiar is there. That may be, but no one has set foot in there since the Exodus. I dread to imagine what has become of it. Oh, there's sure to be a handful of feral familiars and mayhap a monster or two, but nothing to trouble the likes of you. You can consider cleaning up the place payment for my help. Fine. We'll do it. Good girl. Now, if there are no other objections, I suggest you run along to the Maker's Quarter. I'll send one of my porogos ahead to let you into the workshop. You need only tell him where you are, who you are. One can't be too careful after all. Off you go. Might as well go out. Mount up. There we go. Down, down. Baconception. Yeah, so I guess we're gonna use a couple of them to create more of them. Something like that. A couple bacon to make more bacon. Porksea factory farm. Yeah, it's gonna be just like breeding chocobo, but instead it's gonna be porkseas. Gonna be porkseas instead. Like master, like pupil. Greetings, Ribbit, and welcome to my good mistress Relict. Pure Rogo is my name. Puro Rogo is my name, and I'm honored to be your guide. Within you will find a space dedicated to the making of familiars, along with a cavern wherein the requisite ingredients may be had. I must warn you, however, that the place has not played host to a single soul, much less a broom, in over 15 years, and will, I regret, be in some disarray. But rest assured, my brothers and I shall see to it you do not lose your way. Now then, Ribbit, only say the word and I will show you in. What word? Ribbit? Oh! Yeah, we're queuing up. Alright, time to queue up. Dungeons. Is it Matoya's Relict? Yes. Duty registration. I think we're cute now. Yeah, I think we're good. Down, 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 down. Do, 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 do. 14 minutes. 14 minutes queue? Yeah, I need to repair. But I can't do it here. Well, actually, I guess I can go up here. Let's go to Idleshire. Can I go past here? Nice. go back to Limsa. Oh, you get ported after? But I can't port into new zone? Oh. Alright. Alright, I'll just be in my low gear then. Surely it'll be fine, right? Nice library.
Right. To begin with, I need you to gather a few ingredients. Listen well to what the Pirogos say, or you'll wish you had.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Hayami and Zayas is here, and someone called Gina. Might be a new person. It's a sprout. Proceed. So are you? I am not a sprout. I am actually. Wait. Oh my god. I thought the little ribbit was our tank. And I thought they were getting pulled. I didn't mean to pull. We did it. Woo! Okay. Oh. Ah! Oh yeah, my sister Aria has like she booked like a whole family trip. It's the first trip as a family that they go on with you know, with kids and everything. Partially because the kids were so young, but also because of pandemic. And they had calculated to have the passports ready and stuff, but then the passports had delays to the point where oops, pressing wrong buttons. To the point where they're actually not gonna get their passport in time, so they're queuing up to get a temporary passport, which is expensive, and also And also, they're taking turns standing in queue because people are literally standing in queue 24 hours before the place opens. So like her and her husband have been like taking turns queuing up since like noon today so that they can get their temporary passports tomorrow. And it's gonna cost, I don't know exactly how much it costs. Is it like 100 euros per person or something? It's so messed up. I feel like they should have expected like the passport interest to be so high and put more people on it to get them done faster. It's 700 SEK? Okay. But yeah, I feel so bad for her, like she's actually so upset. Even yesterday, they drove to the place to make sure, because they were ready to queue for 48 hours, because it has been reported that some people have stayed up to 48 hours. So they kept driving there every 2-3 hours to double check if anyone was queued, and nobody queued yesterday, luckily. And then today they started seeing people queuing up, so they queued today. So people are like quite literally tenting outside of the place. Yeah, I just got reminded. I feel so bad for her. Are we supposed to do something with the balls? I don't actually know. They're queuing for temporary passports because their passport was not completed in time. And they got like a new update on how it's delayed. And it's not gonna... They booked their trip thinking that the estimated time plus like a week would be enough. But it's been extended longer than they expected. So they have to go and get some temporary ones instead. The requests were just really behind the schedule. They were behind the schedule. Like they booked the trip according to like the time that they said the passport would be done, and then plus they added a little bit of time. But it's been delayed basically. So she's really stressed out. Yeah, they booked according to the estimated time. Funnily enough, like, my mom is the one who's like always so like worried about wasting money, right? But even she was like, you know what, it's not worth the stress, just skip the trip. And my sister's like, we paid so much for that booking and we can't unbook. Like, no, we have to go. I can't just let it go. This was when they were stressed out yesterday, being ready to queue 48 hours in advance. But it seemed that luckily they didn't have to. But they did keep driving there to make sure that nobody was queuing, to not miss the chance. Because another thing is, if you queue too late, you won't be... like, the place will shut before it's even your time, right? So they're doing it in a way that they're one of the first 30 people in the queue, so that at least they know for sure they'll get a spot tomorrow, like when the place opens. Because if you queue too late, like, you won't make it for tomorrow. Then it might end up being like queue for the day after or something. But yeah, she's really stressed about it. And I guess these are the times where maybe you want to have flight tickets that are rebookable, but it's so hard because rebookable flights is like normally like double the price, I find, I think. I mean, not just flight, like hotel and everything. It's the first time they booked like a full family trip. Apparently it's a big mess in Ireland to make sure they arrive early. Yeah. It's true. Oops, I casted the wrong thing. I think even like non-cheap airlines, like regular airlines, like let's say Scandinavian Airlines or whatever, the standard ticket doesn't allow rebooking. People miss flights because no staff to handle security thingy. Oh shit, really? It's that bad. When I flew, it was no problem, but I guess we're getting closer to the part that people are going for summer trips. Like, when I was there, it was... To be fair, I also went at a really late time, so there's probably not many flights at my time. Like, I probably missed the, you know, rush hour, so to speak. Phew. Yeah, no, I understand what you mean more about it. Just not enough to take on the big pressure. The thing is, people are finally being able to travel for the first time. For a lot of people, it's the first travel since the pandemic, right? Oh. Cool. Okay. This is cool. I didn't see that. Oh god. I don't see those, I'm so blind. How did it get loot? Noise! I just realized the post Shadowbringers questing MSQ, it doesn't give much XP anyways, right? I just realized because I was feeling a little bit bad for not being able to do Summoner because it's 78 and this is 80, but post content barely does any XP. Yeah, I just remembered that. Nice. No need to feel bad. I do not have something past in Germany that costs 90 and you get it within 3-4 days instead of waiting 4 whole weeks. I don't know. I just know they did the one, I guess, for 4 weeks. I don't know what the standard time is, but apparently now it's been extended to like 6 weeks or something. 6 or 8 weeks. They probably thought like they gave it enough time that they don't need to go for a speedy one, but yeah. Nice. Okay, let's go. No one can blame you. You don't order pants wherever it is. No one can say you're coming. Yeah. And I'm the kind of person who normally goes like, oh well, and I'm sad about it, right? But my sister gets really upset. So she was actually like shaking yesterday. Because she's so stressed about it. But hopefully once it's over and once they're actually there traveling, she'll feel better. Where are they going? It's a good question. I don't remember. The focus was so much on that stuff that I forgot where they're going. Where are they going? I don't know. I think probably South Europe. Like, maybe Spain? I don't know. I need to ask, actually. Denmark? No, they're not gonna travel to Denmark. You need a passport to pay from Sweden? I think you need a passport if you travel to any country, any other country, don't you? Not with an EU? Wait, I don't know. Wait, let's see.
Right then. Let's get this over with.
A normal ID is fine. Yeah, I'm gonna double check. Maybe it wasn't an EU then.
Newborns are wont to be difficult.
Oh, was that a new one I missed? That's cute. Aw, Mother Porksy. Wait, am I gonna fight her? No, I don't want to fight her. Matoya's relict. Alright, let's go. No! I missed. Where's that? Oh, be as far as possible? Okay. Okay. Nice, we made it. Ba, 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 ba. No, I was just gonna do my combo. The name of the skills that the boss uses. Oh, okay. One, two. Cool. Ah! Wait, weren't you guys going in here? Ah! Open flame. Minced meat. Tenderloin. All the meats. LB. Where's my LB? Wait, did I cancel it? Oh my god, I canceled it! It's a cast time, I forgot. Nice LB. Oh, look at his little leg. I mean, little foot. Yeah! Yeah. Nice. Alright, player commendation. Who do we give it to? Our tank or our healer? Let's see. Yeah, basically, my sister doesn't have a regular national ID. And driving license is not, what's it called, acceptable. And she didn't realize because national ID would have been cheaper and faster to get, but she didn't think about it before. She says it's gonna cost them 3,000 kroner right now to get these temp stuff. Yeah. Kroner, not euros. Kroner, but yeah. So yeah, it's like 300 euros. Like extra cost. Yeah. Hayami saved you many times? Alright, we'll give it to Hayami then. Yeah! Thank you to both of you for joining. I gave mine to Hayami. Alright, then Hayami can give it to Zayas. I mean, what? You have to give it to me? Mm-hmm. I didn't get it! I did get it. Wait, I just realized if they give each other, that means I get no commendation. So that means I only got one commendation. Thank you, Hayami. Zayas, what the hell? Okay, right.
There we are. Quite tame.
Quite tame. Mother Porksy.
Then all that remains is for me to imbue her with the magic. My friends, I'm afraid I must trouble you for your ether once more.
Yep, let's do it. I gave my time for healing me. I'm only joking. That is totally fine. Thanks, need a good healer. True. You know, when I texted my sister, you know what the first thing she does is? Video call me. My anxiety. But yeah, I said I'm streaming right now. Why do people video call like it's normal? It's not normal. Unbelievable. Yeah. Pepper meltdown.
That should suffice.
Nice. Good job, Graha.
Good. Let's set her to work then, shall we? I want to see some porkses. Assuming that is, someone can spare the requisite energy. A mere drop in the ocean for the great sorceress Matoya, I dare say.
I dare say. Carefully, Stola, don't hurt yourself. Oh! Oh my god. They're just plopping out.
Excellent. Our very own litter of Angelos.
Wow.
And we can make as many more as we want, simply by providing the Mother Porksy with additional ether.
I will require a moment before I try again.
Yeah, careful.
It's
Don't
still
hurt
hard
her.
work, but a damn sight more efficient than making them one by one. Thank you, Master Matoya. Everyone. We're a step closer to our goal.
Distributed amongst the allied nations, they should do much to facilitate closer dialogue with the beast tribes. And given their present travails, I believe our friends in Limsa Laminsa should be the first beneficiaries.
Alright.
Agreed. Though I must leave this errand to you. I doubt my legs will carry me out of the cave, much less to Vilbrand.
Much less to Vilbrand.
Thank you for taking the lead in gathering the ingredients. I expect you would benefit from a rest too.
It's time for us to rest, guys. Oh, look at me in my pretty dress.
In addition to the Porksies, I trust you've gained an inkling of how much effort goes into the creation of familiars. Or mayhap you attribute your struggles to old age.
Whoa! Matoya, did you just call Ishtola old? How dare you?
If I said yes, would it persuade you to treat me like an adult?
Not with that pertness, it wouldn't. Anyway, assuming you have no other favors to ask, I shall be leaving.
Okay. She's 23, true. She's been 23 for 10 years, actually. Da, 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 da. Like any, yep, like, true. Let's see. Bow, bow, bow. Ba-da-ba-bow. Bum, bum. Okay, there we go. Lest you wonder, Master Matoya has returned to her cave with Ishtola. They are as peas in a pod, are they not? They are indeed. You must now enter Matoya's relic. Oh, you may now. Oh, this is just telling me that I've unlocked it. Okay. Nice, and that's another quest done. That's another quest done. Yeah, you must you must do the instance again. Alright, let's go. Well then, my friends, let us return to Limsa Laminsa and deliver the good news to the Admiral. A word to the officer in Bulwark Hall should be sufficient to secure us an audience. Back to Limsa. Back to Limsa. Why, Lieutenant Fuchs, ever a welcome sight. Tidings for the Admiral, you say? Why are you typing W? Did I type W? She's presently receiving gas, but for the signs, I know she'll make an exception. Follow me. Oh, because No Name did. Okay, I see. Alright. My friends, what brings you here this day? Is this true? By the Navigator, a cure for tempering. As often as I've been in awe of you, science, I would not have thought it possible. This is a pretty big deal. Like, this is the first time there's such a solution, and this has been a problem since the beginning of the game. And yeah, it is, Admiral. We have done it. Here in Limsa, and production of more familiars has already begun. You have my thanks. Truly, this will do much to advance the cause of peace. Yet, I fear it will take more to close the rift twixt man and beastmen. Bah, even to speak thus divides us. Welcome as it is, a cure will not guarantee reconciliation between our peoples. For though summoning and the tempered may serve to fuel the conflict, they are but symptoms of it. If we are to resolve the primal problem once and for all, we must address the cause. We must strive for mutual understanding and find a way to leave our bloody past behind. Is this when the idea of calling them Beast Tribe is bad? Is it part of the story to change that? 'Twas I who moved that the Alliance renew its push for peace. Since our ancestors came to these shores some 7 centuries past, we Laminsans have been at odds with those who share our island home. Yeah. Cool. Save for a brief moment of cooperation with the kobolds, our history has been one of nigh constant territorial squabbling. Meanwhile, our struggle with the Sahagin for control over the seas has only grown fiercer, a matter made worse by the thrice-damned calamity, driving them to seek new spawning grounds. With survival at stake, each had no choice but to fight, and so I dismissed peace as impossible. Impossible is a word coined by the weak, I proclaimed to all who'd listen, and then gave up. You and yours put me to shame.
Less than 3.
Levy BT, thank you very much for the 9-month resub. Thank you. 9 months, that's a baby. That's officially a baby. A Twitch baby. Thank you very much. Since you led us to victory against the Black Wolf, you've achieved the impossible again and again and again. And I thought it high time that I followed suit. Hence my proposal to the Alliance Council. But no sooner did I reach out to our neighbors in Vilbrand than my own people sought to thwart me. You speak of the pirates who failed to attend the meeting. Acting through a friendly faction among the kobolds, we had intended to seek an audience with a prominent patriarch. But the bloody executioners would not hear of it, and their absence sent a message to the rest. Though they are but one of the 3 pirate powers, they are the greatest, and any attempt at peace would founder without them. I'm given to understand that their leader, Captain Hulfir, has been bedridden for some while with an ailment of the lungs. Correct. In his absence, his right hand leads a man named Sicard, but recently risen to prominence among their ranks. Save for his disdain for authority, little is known about him. We've invited him to speak with us more than once, but he will not come. I've tasked the Yellow Jackets and the Rogues with uncovering his motives, but they've learned naught of any value. So a little bit of politics here. I'll leave it to us. You ever did that story or not? Weren't you further than the MSQ? No, this is the first time I'm doing this. We have a nose for the truth. Whatever this Sicard wants, we'll find out. Yep. Truly, I would be much obliged. I shall look forward to hearing what you learn then. Good luck. Yep. By way of a first step, I suggest we split up and make inquiries around town. Someone must know the Sicard. If you could approach the pirates, Annie, the rest of us will seek out merchants and adventurers. Do we go to Aft Castle then? Actually, this is closer. Marauders Guild. Curious about Sigurd, are you? As am I, my friend. As am I. Sadly, I know nothing of the man, save that the Bloody Executioners experienced a marked improvement in their fortunes after his promotion. Quite how he achieved this is a matter of some debate. As you know, the thalassocracy permits us to attack only Guardian vessels, yet these have all but vanished from the seas since the Empire turned in upon itself. In order to adapt, we Krakens have taken to trading with the East, but the Executioners are less forward-looking. I cannot imagine they would willingly abandon the old ways. So how then? Are they lining their coffers? Whatever their secret, they are not like to share it with their rivals, but mayhap you'll have more luck. I think we'll just go straight. Fun ideas? Yeah, I'll check that out later. How do you solve politics in this game? With incredible violence, of course. Solve politics with violence. Yeah, I think that sounds pretty familiar. Isn't that how the world works? The Admiral's Resolve. Marauders. This way? Roswen. Eh? You want to know about Sigurd? He's a wily bugger is what he is. Found some clever way to make coin, they say, and traded it for Moonscout's place at Old Hilfir's side. There was a time we raced executions for a pick of the Empire's fleet, but the Guardians are gone, and them days with them. Owing to which, we've all of us had to look for other ways to make ends meet, with that jumped-up bilge rat Sigurd landing the juiciest whatever it may be. Not that we sirens are struggling, mind. We do well enough guarding fishing boats from the fishbacks and other beasties. Get the first pick of the produce for a trouble see. Quality stuff at a bargain price. This we pass to our sisters as can't sail on account of getting old or wounded or with child, and they cook it up and sell it for a pretty profit. Simple. Oh, I miss the old ways, don't get me wrong. But when I see the girls with the little ones, I think to myself, a life of peace and quiet ain't all that bad. Did we learn anything from that? I don't know. Not convinced. Not convinced. Alright, let's take a look. I see everyone has returned. Now, who would like to go first? So, just as the Imperial prey began to disappear, Sigurd turned the executioner's fortunes around with a mysterious new source of income. Oh yeah, we learned that there is a mystery, I guess. Whatever it is, it's nothing to scoff at. According to a tavern keeper I spoke to, the crew have been indulging themselves as never before, but no amount of drink seems to loosen their tongues as to how they're coming by their coin. For my part, I spoke with a reporter from the Harbour Herald. The publication has been investigating the secret of the executioner's good fortune and making little headway. Plainly, the executioners do not wish the nature of their business to be made public. And I think I may know why. In the course of making inquiries on Hawker's Alley, an interesting fact came to light. Just as the executioners began to enjoy better fortunes, the price of crystal went into sharp decline. A sudden fall in demand, I was told. Curious, I contacted Hoary Boulder, who's been watching the movements of the beast tribes, and my suspicions were proven correct. Despite ever-worsening relations between the beast tribes and the Thalassocracy, neither Titan nor Leviathan have made an appearance of late, suggesting that the kobolds and Sahagin lack the means with which to summon them. So they're selling crystals to the beast tribes. The executioners are divesting them of their crystals? All indications point to that conclusion, yes, though we have no hard evidence as yet. We must investigate further. Or stealing from them? Agreed, so how do we proceed? Oh, I have an idea about that. In fact, I've already taken the liberty of making certain provisions. You can feel my throat. Another quest done! Another quest done. Making pretty good progress now. I'm able to finish FFXIV today. Yeah, I'm wondering the same thing. I don't know. I've been feeling tired today, but I feel like it's maybe getting better now. Not as sleepy as before. Is it less than half done? Really? The hydration check. Yeah, I need to get more water. I do need to get more water. You have a pretty bad hangover today? Oh no. I hope you feel better soon. Dailies up. Yeah, I'm wondering if I should do dailies. Maybe not. Maybe we can do a bit more. I Pepe got more than half. Yeah. That makes sense. Alright, let's go for another quest and then see how we feel. The search for Sickard. During my inquiries, a disgruntled merchant informed me that a wholesaler of crystals had recently arrived. Offering wares at prices far undercutting the competition. After asking around, I was able to get an introduction and will shortly pose as a potential buyer in a bid to establish the crystal's provenance. The man is due to be at Ashan's Embrace in Lower Lanosha shortly. I suggest we make our way there. Okay. Pretending to be a buyer, that's a good tactic. A very good tactic. Very good tactic. Going up this way. But yeah, this is really bad. Like, if the pirate is stealing from the beast tribes, it's bad because we're trying to make peace with them. And this is the opposite. Aw, little Lala. That appears to be a merchant. Wish me luck. Oh no, it's the bad guy. Wait, if he truly is in league with the Blood Executioners, he will surely be wary of those allied to the Admiral. The Science, not least of all. True. Compared to yours and Annie's, mine is an unfamiliar face. Let me play the role of buyer. True. Graha is right, and even if you aren't recognized on sight, you look too genteel to be mixing with society's underbelly. What's genteel? Genteel? But very well, I leave it to you, Graha. Yeah. A shady Lala, how surprising. It is surprising, okay? Most of the pirates are not Lalas, okay? got business with me, cat boy? Cat boy. You're the crystal wholesaler? That I am, but you're no merchant, so what do you want the crystals for? Oh. Don't look at us, you idiots. You'll give yourself away. Oh, no. Did he see? Uh-oh. No? Oh? Oh, I see. You're a weaponsmith, am I right? And you need crystals to make staffs like that fine specimen you've got there. Oh, no. If Graha says yes. That's right. I am indeed a weaponsmith, and I use naught but the finest materials. I bid you show me your wares. Well, we don't invite just anybody into our storehouses. It takes time to establish trust, you understand. Look, I have a large and urgent commission. If the quality is satisfactory, I will not quibble over the price. Alright. It's plain that no ordinary crystal adorn in your staff, so I'll make an exception. Come with me. Wait, when he looked at us, did the Lala think he looked at his own staff? Oh my god. Yeah, the fake smile. It seems to be working. Let's follow them. Yep, let's follow them. Oh, it's right here. It's pretty close. Let's go lower down. Here we go. They went into that tunnel. Quietly now. You won't find any finer, especially not for that price. Indeed, I would expect to pay more than double for such quality. How could they possibly be so cheap? There is nothing unlawful about them if that's your worry. They're from Ogomoro, if you take my meaning. Ogomoro. Stuff's as pure as it gets. You won't be disappointed. So, how much do you want? Ogomoro. Taken from the kobolds, just as we suspected. Yep, they're stealing. They're stealing. Oh, who's this? Behind us! That's enough. Shut your gobs and turn around.
Sloppy.
Sloppy. Yeah, sloppy hiding place. Slowly. Uh-oh. I'm Sickard. Oh, acting captain of the Bloody Executioners. No need to introduce yourselves. We know who you are. Science. Uh-oh. And we also know you've been chatting to the Admiral. Got eyes and ears everywhere, see? Comes with being the only true pirate crew left in Limsa. We are busted. So we've established you ain't here to buy crystals. The question is, what are you here for? You were bold to reveal yourself to us without knowing our objective, but that would explain your swift rise to power. You have spoken plain, and so I shall return the favor. We came here to learn why the Blood Executioners oppose the Admiral's will. And we have our answer. Should Limsa Lominsa make peace with the kobolds, you would lose the source of your newfound wealth. True. That's right. Just to remind you, though, we ain't breaking any rules here. The law forbids us from attacking any vessel not flying the Imperial flag, but it doesn't say nothing about beastmen. Only reason we keep Operation nice and quiet's because we don't want no one taking our business. So basically there's no laws that protect beastmen. Wait, just listen to the end, will you? For what it's worth, I have the highest respect for you and yours. Her especially. Me? While the Maelstrom were worrying about dirtying their fancy red clobber, you lot stormed Ugamoro and battered Bleeding Titan himself. Raised a mug to you when I heard the news. And now we're following in your footsteps, making sure the beastmen never summon their stinking gods again. Practically your successors, we are. When there were still Imperial ships about, we did our bit for Limsa and went after them. But with the Guardians gone, there's no one left to ply or trade on except the beastmen. So let us have that, eh? It's only fair. Contentions though some may find your views, it is true that you have broken no laws. That being so, I see no reason why you should not state your case directly to the Admiral's face. Unless the acting captain of the only true pirate crew left in Limsa Lominsa has some other cause to hide in a cave. Well said. Well said indeed. Alright, I'll meet with Admiral. I'll even provide the venue. The Astalicia. I trust she won't turn down the invitation. I'm spooked, chat. Yeah. Bad guy. Another quest done. We are practically speedrunning. On rough seas. I thought myself the hunter, but it turns out I was the prey. A timely reminder that the pirate powers of Limsa Lominsa are not to be trifled with. But all's well that ends well. Grahatia's timely provocation had the desired effect, and Sicard has agreed to a meeting. Let us hurry back to Limsa Lominsa and pass on his invitation to the Admiral. Bum, 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 bum. Is it this way? Yeah. Bam, 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 bam. Oh, I actually have so much stuff here. I guess from questing. I'm getting stuff I don't need. Okay. Alright, back to the office. Yes. Welcome back, my friends. What news? So they have been stealing crystals from the kobolds. My thanks for solving the mystery and securing a meeting besides. Suffice to say, I accept Sicard's invitation, and I would have you join me as my guests. The future of Limsa hangs upon the outcome of this meeting, and I would have the science present to bear witness. Sure. Okay.
Look who's come crawling!
Traitor!
Traitor?
You can shove your piece!
Oh, they don't like my plans, or Merweb's plans.
Welcome aboard, Admiral. I'll wager you don't remember me. Sicard, acting captain of the bloody executioners, at your service.
At your service.
'Twas kind of you to invite us. Now, if Captain Hillfear has a message for me, I bid you speak it.
We have just the one demand. That you forget this bilge about making peace with the Beastmen.
Yep.
Ours is a nation of pirates. Always has been, always will be. Deny us our right to plunder, and you deny who we are.
Three-heading.
True bloody right!
Bloody right.
Pirates till we die!
Pirates.
What we take!
What'd she say?
Piracy has no place in our future.
Oh. That's a big statement to make.
What'd she say?
Indeed.
Pirates have no place.
No, piracy.
Our nation has prospered through piracy, 'tis true. Yet it is but one part of our long and storied history. Centuries ago, our ancestors led a failed rebellion and were driven from their homes with little more than the shirts on their backs. In fear of their lives, they sailed south until they came to these shores. Finding the land occupied by kobolds, however, they were forced to turn to piracy in order to survive. And survive they did. But not so long ago, when the Empire threatened to crush everything we'd built, we set aside piracy and joined hands with our neighbors. This too was in order to survive. And survive we did. Time after time we fought the Empire, and time after time we won. And through trade with our newfound allies, we prospered more than we ever did through pillaging and plundering.
Big words.
The Empire teeters on the brink of collapse. Ere long, provinces like Wurlid and Bosnia and many others will regain their freedom.
Bosnia. It's not Bosnia. Oh my god.
When they do, our matchless fleet will lead the world in a new golden age of commerce. The tides favor us, and the ocean beckons with her vast bounty.
Okay.
But if we cling to the old ways, this great ship we call Limsa will trade the boundless seas for a lagoon. Shall we scorn the world's wealth for a plundered pittance then?
Okay.
Or shall we embrace change and thrive, like our ancestors before us? The choice is yours. But if we are to prosper in the coming age, the whole of Vilbrand must become our ship, and a kobold and Sahagin our crewmates.
Crewmates.
Rousing
Not happy.
words. Might even be some truth in them. But pirating's all we've ever known. And we ain't about to give it up just 'cause you say so.
Fair enough.
Still, we're all the Mincins here and no one wants a war. So where does that leave us? Long before you became Admiral, I heard you was captain of the League of Lost Bastards. That true?
The League of Lost Bastards? What is that?
If so, you'd know how we pirates settle our differences.
What is that? Fighting?
A duel. Very well. As
Oh.
Admiral of Limsa Laminsa, I accept your challenge.
Oh. She's like a head taller. I remember she was former captain of a pirate crew. Okay. So that's how they did things. Oh! Cool. Duel with guns?
This ain't over! Not till one of us is dead! Finish the job! Or I will!
Oh? Oh, is this the real person who's supposed to be in charge?
It's the captain!
Yeah!
Captain Elfair!
Ye fool! 'Twas over afore it began.
Damn!
Captain!
Seems the whelps have been yapping while their master was abed.
Mm-hmm.
Listen well, all of ye. Since the signing of the Galadian Accord, we all of us have been part of the same crew. The crew with a good ship Limsa Laminsa.
Mm-hmm.
At the helm of that ship is the Admiral. And 'tis she who decides where we sail. Was I not clear on that point? Or did you forget whose deck you stand on?
Okay.
Then what in the seven hells are you playing at?
Oh.
That's all we know, Captain. If we ain't pirates, what are we?
What are we?
You're bloody idiots is what you are.
Oh my god.
Idiots with your own lives ahead of ye. Ye can do anything ye want. Be anything you want.
You're bloody idiots, is what you are.
We're pirates, aye. And we pirates love our loot. But that ain't our first love. Our first love is the sea. The sea.
The sea.
And what she brings us. Freedom. So hold fast to that. Let the brine-crusted husk that stands before you now be the last of them as knew naught save out of steel. And make of yourselves a new breed of pirate! Lad, I made ye me right hand cause I saw something in ye. And I still do. You have the makings of a captain. All you lack's the belief.
The belief. These patches were during COVID and the voice acting is a bit off. These were during COVID? Isn't Shadowbringers kind of old?
Well now, it seems we're of one mind after all. Apologies for the misunderstanding, Admiral. We're with ye.
Nice.
Wherever ye be.
5 forward December 8th. Ah. Okay, well that's cool. Yeah, I think the voice acting is fine, to be honest.
You have my thanks, Hilfir.
Yeah, nice one, Hilfir. Oh, whoops. We need to keep this man alive.
Your choice of dueling pistol did not escape my notice. Good old Annihilator. Ender of many a proud pirate's voyage.
Annihilator.
Mistbeard's vanished into legend, and it won't be long before I take my rest in the depths. Yet be that as it may, the old ways can only truly die when we've dealt the Empire the telling blow.
The telling blow.
There'll be stormy seas ahead, no doubt. But I'm trusting ye to steer us through to the other side.
He's trusting him. Or her. Or them. Almost sneezed. Though I had anticipated a duel, I did not foresee that Hilfir would intervene, but full glad am I that he did. It would have been a shame to kill the boy. How did a sneeze turn into a yawn? Instead, the whelp has learned a valuable lesson, and we have made peace amongst ourselves. All that remains is to do likewise with our neighbors. Eight quests done! 2 quests left!